Shock Monkey Radio is entertainment for adults, by adults, and reviews. How about now? Can you hear me now? How about now? Okay. So if you can hear me, I kind of want to check YouTube now. All right. You know, this is the problem. You know, I go on vacation and I'm not here every week to piss in the corner, make sure everything is connected correctly and everything like that. Stuff that falls through the cracks. View my channel. All right. Let's see if I can hear me. You know, this is the problem. You know, I go on vacation and I'm not here every week to piss in the corner, I'm funny. It's working. All right. Should I redo the morning? What do you think? Yeah, I think I need one for every episode. Shock Monkey Radio is entertainment for adults, by adults, and the views and opinions expressed here do not reflect upon the sponsors or FXBG Public Radio. For additional information, please refer to the United States Bill of Rights. Stand warned. So I woke myself up farting last night, and in the dream there was an earthquake happening in the dream, and then all of a sudden my body woke me up, and it's like halfway through this amazing sensation of this pressure being released from my body. A loud sound, obviously, but it's like my body said, you need to be awake for this, because this felt really good. And it's just a nice long one, and felt the pressure, you know, relieving. And I was like, and then I thought, well, that's probably why I'm not married right there. I often hear women say, what's funny about farts, you know, making the room smell like shit, why is that funny? It's like, why don't you think it's funny? I don't know. So I thought, yeah, that's why I'm not married. And then I fell back asleep. I wonder if that's what happened. Like one night, you know, every girl that I've ever slept with, at one point, just a boom, and it didn't wake me up. I ripped one real good and didn't wake me up. And she's like, I can't deal with this. That's a deal breaker. Oh boy. Deal breaker farts. I suppose it happens. At least I have the courtesy to have told me. Like, some people may consider that like a shallow reason. It's like, Madman, I don't want to see you anymore. I was like, why? Because you let this horrendous fart out last night. And you didn't wake up. I had to leave the room. I had to get up and leave the room. I went and got a box fan, opened the door, and set it in there for about 10 minutes, went out, watched TV, and waited. That's a deal breaker fart. But it was never something like that. They never tell you a reason. Anyway, welcome to Shock Monkey Radio. I'm your host, the Madman. I have a Patreon. Please go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron today. I would appreciate it. And I also have a Cash App. Use the cash tag shockmonkeyradio, all one word, to send me money that way. And you can follow me on social media over here. I got to reline the left and right. Been 2 weeks. I've been on vacation. Have you been on vacation? Nope. Just me. I brought back a couple pictures. We're going to skip those first ones. And I wanted number 6 and number 7 has a couple of the vacation pictures. The one of the super wings that you retouched up for me, EK. This is one. I don't want to show you pictures of my family because I'm the one who signed up to do the YouTube thing, not them. You know, the start of this show, just, oh boy. It's 6. And then we'll talk about number 7. There was this guy stuck in traffic. He took a picture of the back of my car, which has Shock Monkey Radio stickers. I wonder if he's like checking out the show right now. He's like, oh, this is terrible. There's those people, my patrons, they're always sitting there. It's terrible. This is terrible. What am I paying for? You have trouble with pulling up the pictures? Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so well, I tell you what, I got eaten alive by mosquitoes, by skeeters. Wherever I go, whenever I travel, it's like mosquitoes love me, And I'm like, and every time it's like I'm asking everyone, are you getting torn up by mosquitoes? And they're like, no, I feel fine. I'm fine. Mosquitoes love me. I don't know why. When I went to Puerto Rico, I got like so nailed by mosquitoes that I had to get some like cortisone cream and put them on my arms, like treat my arms for a couple days because of it. And I asked other people there, it's like, look at me. I got this cream all over my arms. Have any of you been bit by mosquitoes? And they're like, no. It's like, they love me. I got tore up by mosquitoes. Plus, it's like off season, and down in Outer Banks, and so there was a lot of chicks checking me out, and I'm just like, what happened? Did the boys of summer leave, and now there's no more shirtless, thin, blonde guys running around, and now I'm the hot guy in town? And I found that weird. A lot more fantastic butts in the Outer Banks. A lot of girls with fantastic butts. Wow. A lot of great butts. Yeah, but we went to a bunch of different places. I've never really considered this, but when I was down there, I was thinking, I have never seen so many stores selling the most worthless things humankind has ever made, has ever manufactured. I'm looking at like store after store that, my family wants to go in, and I'm going to these stores that like every single one of these stores is chock full of the most useless shit I've ever seen. I'm not a big fan of like tchotchkes and stuff like that, knickknacks and little turtles that say Outer Banks on them and stuff like that. But we took a picture like that. What else happened down there? Played putt-putt. Went to a bunch of restaurants. Most of them were meh, but the Mexican restaurant I went to was pretty good. I can't remember the name of it, but it was pretty good. I got like yeah, it was weird. I got like checked out by a guy in Food Lion. A dude checked me out in Food Lion. I'm like, oh, what the hell? This doesn't happen a lot back home. I got checked out by a dude in Food Lion. And then at the Mexican restaurant, there was this old lady, like 50s, 60s, who like was really up and down on me, I guess the salt and pepper works for me. I don't know. And so, and then, we had a pool and a hot tub there at the place, cooking some meals, hanging with the fam, getting eat up by mosquitoes, running, doing all the little different stuff that there is to do in town. Yeah, good time. You can show that next picture, 7. This is like the last story. Huh? Yeah, we'll come back to the other ones. So the picture for number 7 is the last story of our vacation. We were coming back home and we hit traffic, and I don't know why the person who was driving did this, but the thing pops up on GPS as alternate route. And she's like, yes, go that alternate route. And everyone's like pulling off. Everyone is pulling off on the same alternate route. And it's like, you are literally following the crowd. It's like, how do you not know that? If the internet tells you to do something, don't do it. Oh my God. And so this was the last picture. My niece took this picture because we hit traffic and it was raining and I was on the side of the road. Here's what happened. We got left in the morning. We stopped at like Hardee's and I got one of those sourdough things. I ate that. It was friggin' delicious. And my sister was listening. They were listening to Unabridged History of the United States or something like that. I can't remember. And I just kind of drifted off. It was the Civil War. And I drifted off. And then I woke back up and it was like there was a bunch of strikes at the railroad. And I was like, oh, man, I've been out for a while. And so I woke up. It's still raining. We're still in traffic. I said, and we're going real slow at the time. And I put on my sister's raincoat and I said, I'm going to step outside for a cigarette. And she's like, what? You guys are going so slow. I can keep pace. I'll walk along beside you. I'll get right back in. Well, it turns out that like as soon as I get like halfway through the cigarette, boom, they're way up. It's like, damn it. And so I had to walk like a quarter of a mile to catch up to them. They pulled off on like a little, had like a hot dog stand off on the side of the road, and they waited for me there. They're all laughing. It's like, I'm sorry about that. But I guess we don't have to stop for a cigarette. So it was like the last story. My niece took a picture of it because she found it to be hilarious. And I'm sure her mother gave her a that's why you don't smoke cigarettes, because it makes you do stupid stuff like this. Maybe I should have said that to my niece anyway. Good vacation, except for one thing. The horses. We got to talk about the horse worshippers of North Carolina, because it's scary. It's scary. So you can start pulling up those pictures of the horse statues that are all over the Outer Banks. And can you raise that middle one that's right above me to the top? I want over the top of the other pictures, because I want this the one in the center I want to focus on, because I hate horses. I hate horse worshipers, but I do like art. All right, and as you can see, like those horses are they're all kind of art pieces. They're painted and so forth. And of all of the horses I saw in the Outer Banks, this one artistically I like the best. All right, it looks like a ponyta or something like that. It's quite cool, I think, but there's me menacing it because I have to. And this is just three of them, three pictures. I think I took pictures of 4 of these things laying around, just hanging around the Outer Banks. But there's lots and lots of them, lots and lots and lots of them. Oh God, it's scary when they move them that quickly. These were statues, so they're static. They weren't moving at all. So, and like this one, the art on this one, I was like, what the hell are you doing? Anyway. Yeah, that one was my favorite. Indeed, and it looks like an actually talented artist did it, and it's just weird. And then people say, oh yeah, there's lots of wild horses around, and I'm like, really? How concerned should I be? It's like, oh, it's like a tradition in North Carolina and in the Outer Banks, there's wild horses and stuff like that. And I'm like,
how wild?
Yeah, how wild?
Like go out Friday, come back Sunday wild?
Yeah, like that, like real wild, like show their shirts, like horses gone wild. Pulling up their shirts. And so I'm not interested in the history of it. It's like, if there's wild horses around it, we should be in a place where there's like guys with sentry towers with machine guns and sharpshooters in case any wild horses get near us. You don't build statues to horses, you psychopaths, you horse worshippers. It just blows my mind. But I mean, artistically, I like that horse. But what are you doing? And then I was thinking about all these pictures. I posted them while I was down there. And I was thinking about all of them. And we were driving along the side of the road. And there's this lady who's walking her dog. And the dog pooped. And so she gets a bag and puts it around her hand. And goes, and I felt like that scene in Envy. Just, ew. And then I thought, why don't we make people who own horses pick up their horses' poop that way? We should make them do that. You could argue, say, yeah, well, if you have horses, you probably have stables. And if you have stables, you probably use a shovel to deal with the manure. Horse turds. But I mean, if you're like on a horse in public, like if you're a mounted police officer and the horse takes a dump in the park, you got to get your little bag around your hand and pick up all that horse poo, and then maybe you can go to the police department and say, hey, maybe we shouldn't be using live animals to pursue criminals. Why not, reliable technology, since it is now available. Why are horses still around? I really don't get it. We don't need them anymore. I mean, and if you're like the only reason horses should exist is for horse racing, that's the only argument I can think of. You can race things other than horses: dogs, weasels, ducks. Anyway, I really don't get the whole horse fascination of other people. I understand my fascination. My fascination is fear. Speaking of fear, you're going to be able to play that video? Number 4? Okay. EK's having a lot of issues with the tech today. If you're, those of you on Twitter, you're like, hey, aren't what? Huh? Oh, okay. So he's got to rebuild everything, he says. So, and it sounds like he's got the sniffles. I wonder if the mic's picking that up. But yeah, let me know about that video, because it's one of those, huh? Okay, because it's one of those things where it's like EK, he like talked me into watching Tubi, and mostly it's been good, but you can't really skip the commercials. And that's what I kind of like about YouTube, is that you can skip the longer commercials. And so, and certainly on YouTube, you'll never see a 1-minute commercial that's this terrifying, you know. And you remember I talked about that zebra insurance commercial, because I mean, I guess I talk about horses around my device so much that, you know, I get ads for horse feed. You know, like you could put like a powder on your dog food or your horse food to make it like taste better to them for some reason, you know, or have more nutritional value, you know, make sure they get their veggies and so forth. Yeah. Okay. And so, I mean, I get ads for that because I talk about horses so much. You know, Google thinks I own horses, or maybe they're just torturing me. Maybe the horse mafia is trying to torture me. It's like, he hates horses so much, we're just going to keep sending horse ads his way. Terrifying. And like, they're making decisions. Look at I'm like staring off into space. I'm in my own little world right now. Like, they're making decisions, like advertising decisions. Well, if this madman guy hates horses so much, we are going to make a ton of commercials that will terrify the hell out of the madman with products he would never buy, for products he would never use. And boy, I can't wait to show you this. Okay. So I wonder, are you previewing it?
The moisture comes from natural oils that we've included in the formula, and some of us don't even need a moisturizer with it. And I don't think you'll ever go back.
Yeah, good, reliable. Maybe I should have. Yeah, maybe I should have got the file. My bad. All right. Okay, how long is the ad? All right. Well, I mean, I think I've said about everything terrifying about horses that's on my mind today. And I kind of want to
watch what magnesium does to your bowels.
If you have to wipe more than 4 times after you poop, here's why.
The Mayo Clinic confirms that stuck poop can cause these embarrassing skid marks in your undies. You see, when stuck poop causes a traffic jam in your colon, your bowels become too full. And as the pressure builds up, liquefied...
What'd you say? Stuck poop? Well, I'm glad I wasn't able to hear it. Oh my God. Seriously, like, they're making advertising decisions just to piss me off. Is it that bad? Oh my goodness. The next story is a movie review, but I guess I could talk. All right. Let's talk about a movie called Employee of the Month. 2004 movie. Has like Matt Dillon, Christina Applegate, Steve Zahn, Dave Foley, like star-studded cast. Yeah. What?
Wow. Hell of a cast.
Yeah. Star-studded cast. And it's kind of a weird, how can I put this? There's too many like fantasy segments, right? It's like Matt Dillon's character. He's like being berated by his boss, and then all of a sudden it'll cut to a fantasy scene where he's got a gun in his hand, he's sticking a gun in his boss's face. You know, there's a lot of scenes like that. So you're kind of like, what the hell is this even really happening? At first, it's kind of disorienting, and that's not really good for a movie. I mean, I get the point of the movie. The point of the movie is that you can't really run and hide from who you are, what you are as a person. And if you're a bad person, then you're going to live by the sword, die by the sword kind of thing. And Matt Dillon's this guy. He had a shady past, and he's trying to he's one of those I got to get a job kind of vatos, you know. And so he gets this job so he can get this girlfriend. Christine Applegate wants to marry her. And Steve Zahn's his best friend. He's like, no, what are you doing? You're an idiot, you know. And it's that kind of classic setup, and that hooks the ladies into the plot. It's like, okay. And, a bunch of drama unfolds. There's a big threat of violence constantly looming. It's like any second, somebody's going to snap, you feel. When people are armed and so forth in this, and you're just like, oh, okay, impending violence, a lot of doom, a little bit of a shadiness of these characters, kind of like it. There's a guy in the PG-13 movie you're not really sure you like yet. You don't really know where he's coming from, And I like that. And then you start getting into the third act, and you're like, ooh, that's a hell of a twist. And then you go, ooh, that's a hell of another twist. And then you're like, okay, how many twists are they going to do? And then you're like, really? How many twists are they going to do? Okay, another one. Okay, all right. They're good twists. It's just way too many of them. Way too many. And I wonder if it's like if actors have something in their like, what do they call it? A rider. It's like, I want to look good in every film I'm in. Like I'm the good guy or the mastermind. It's almost like, they shot like a couple different endings of the movie, and it's just like, screw it all happened, It's like the end of Clue, It's like, okay, this is a bunch of different endings, but it says screw it, let's just throw them all in. But that wasn't true. Clue, when that came out, they had different endings in different regions and stuff like that. It was supposed to create a controversy. In the internet age, it would have been a brilliant marketing scheme, because there'd be people arguing all over Reddit. That's not what happened at the end of Clue. Anyway, Employee of the Month, star-studded movie, but a little confusing. It was like, okay, a little too many twists, a little too much here and there. But 8 of 13 stars. They're all horrible people. Yeah, I like a movie where you don't like anybody, That's why I like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, because you hate everybody, but the only one you kind of like is Charlie, right? But then Charlie will do cold-blooded stuff too. Anyway, refill my water here. How are we doing on that terrifying ad? We are all over the place today. Let's see. As a what? Browser image? Okay. This is going to be wild trying to clip this live thing. Okay. Ugh, boy. It's not working? Okay. All right, then we'll move on to the news. Okay. Yeah, news. We'll run through the news pretty quickly. We're, first week back after vacation. We're just, getting the feel of it again. I like it to be smoother, but I don't know.
We're warming up.
Yeah, we're getting there. And so, when you're on vacation, you're like, I don't want to think about work. Yeah. Will I be able to hear the audio? Okay. But I want to be able to read the captions at the very least, so.
Low liquid filter isn't just a one-trick pony.
Okay.
It can be used alone, under foundation, or as a highlighter. Glow booster. All in one affordable, cruelty-free
Obviously
product.
not a product I'd ever use.
Excuse me. Okay, the term one-trick pony is actually very offensive. Just because Josh over there only knows one trick doesn't mean we're all like
Josh
that.
sounds awesome.
I actually know a lot of tricks. I can do this. I can do impressions. That was my mom. Also, I do magic.
Oh my God.
Is this your card?
This is just awful. Right? Terrifying and awful.
Elf Halo Glow, not just a one-trick pony.
We just talked about this.
Elf Halo Glow, a many-trick pony.
The correct term is a multi-talented small-boned horse.
Elf Halo Glow, a multi-talented small-boned horse.
Thank you.
You know what that is? That is a literal nag. In every sense of it. And I saw that commercial and I was like, that is terrifying. Not only is it talking, but it's annoying. Josh, he's less of a threat. At least Josh isn't bothering everybody trying to censor your speech, saying, oh, I'm offended. They made a literal Karen nag. A literal Karen nag. To sell makeup products to women. I'm telling you, there's a conspiracy out there. The advertising companies know that I hate it, and they know I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to force my technician to figure out how to play their commercials on my show. Anyway, that's what all the horses reminded me of. They reminded me of work. All right, one more thing before we're out of here, into the news, I'm sorry. You know, when I go on vacation, I don't really keep up with the news like I normally do. When I'm working and so forth, I'll follow it. You know, I listen to podcasts, read the news every morning. But when I'm on vacation, I kind of unplugged all that. You know, I like to, think my own thoughts, and when you read periodical news, when you read, you need to take a break from it. I was considering why my show may not be as popular as some others. And I realized that, it's because I kind of split my time between both stuff that's on my mind, for things that I find are funny and interesting, or just ragging on horses all day long. It's stuff that I find fun. And then, I spend half of my show talking about the news. It's heavily opinionated. And even if you agree with me politically and what my opinion of the articles, then you may find it amusing. But when it comes to people who want pure entertainment or pure news, when it comes to watching a channel on YouTube, they usually prefer the purity of one or the other. If it's solely an entertainment channel, they want to see just, funny little clips that they can share quickly, reels and so forth. They don't necessarily want to watch an hour-long comedy show that also includes news. And people who want to get news, they want to get terse, fast information, and that hence, successful people like Ben Shapiro, because that's what he does. He gives you terse, fast, complete information. And my show is like a combination of that, but I would say that my show is actually only 25% of the news. Most of it, I'm just laughing at horrible tragedies that happen in the world. You got to laugh to keep from crying and so forth. And so, I guess that's why maybe I'm not as appealing as others, but at least I know that there's more to life than what's going on in the news. I, quote unquote, touch grass regularly, meaning that I read the news, I may get upset, but I read it, I digest it, I move on. I move my thoughts onto to somewhere else. And when I'm on vacation, I don't even do it that much, I get alerts and stuff like that. James Comey, okay. I figured I could extrapolate what's happening. Something wrong? Did we freeze? Okay. All right. Well, okay. I still see us that we're alive. Yeah. Okay. And you got to unplug, daily, especially if you read news these days, because, it's not good for your blood pressure. It really isn't. Because news, no matter where you sit on the political aisle, can raise your blood pressure. It's written in a way to cause you to get angry, to have to feel something in particular. Usually it's like something, anger, outrage, something like that. And the reason that the news is written in that way is because they're not getting paper sales anymore. They're getting clicks. And the number of clicks is the amount of like ad space you could sell. And that's how news organizations make money, So they want to drive clicks, and driving clicks means driving your emotion. And every news agency does this, every single one. Because the only way to be competitive is to make you feel something enough to want to do something, or even to give your credit card number, And so you can't live your life in that world. I guess I'm lucky because I can compartmentalize, when I'm thinking of news, I'm not thinking of news. When I'm at work, or I'm playing video games, I'm not just like, freaking Democrats or freaking horse. Well, the horse thing pops up quite frequently, but I'm not thinking, these Democrats and then freaking, I'm not raising my blood pressure, That's why I laugh at a lot of these stories that I read. Because I don't take it that seriously. The world's not falling apart. My family and friends still love and respect me. We get along to some degree. And everything's going to be okay-ish, Even if, there's a civil war breaks out and, we all get, murdered in the streets for being conservative. Got gun squads running down the street. It's like, who'd you vote for? Trump, he's got a MAGA hat, put him down, even if that happens, it's going to be okay. I feel like we'll all see each other again soon in heaven, no matter what happens to us. Just all you can do is hope that it's quick. But, you got to unplug. You got to take a break. Go on vacation for your mind. Anyways, go run through the news really quickly. Really quickly. News worth knowing. All right, so government shutdown. All right, after Congress deadlocks on spending deal. This has become like a regular feature. I'm not going to read the article. I'm just going to talk about it. It's kind of become a regular feature in Washington. One party or another, they start throwing a hissy fit because they're not getting their way, and they're like, we're going to shut the government down. Little do they know how excited these kind of things make me. Yeah, shut it down. Considering all the information that has come out over the last year, shut it down. You people are wasting so much money. Shut it down. And I think one of the biggest mistakes about the inception of this company, conspiracy theory. It's a company of England, right? Isn't that one a conspiracy theory? The UK owns us as a corporation. Anyway, the thing about this country, the biggest mistake was the representation based upon population. Of course, more populous states argued that because they have more population, they should have more say in the government, and therefore representation should be based upon population. However, smaller states said, no, we should have equal representation within a republic. It's not a democracy, it's a republic. And so I say, I've been saying this for a long time, you could shut down the whole House of Representatives, and I think this government will start working more efficiently. Not to mention the billions of dollars you'll save. What is it, 434 members, 35 members of the House of Representatives. 435 people. They have to have aides. They have to have secretaries. They have to have computers. They have to have their special cell phone. Paid for all by tax dollars. My money, your money. So, yeah, we can get rid of that. I think that was one of the biggest mistakes in the inception of the United States was representation based upon population. Because now you got California here in Washington bullying all these other people into doing what they want. because California has way too much power, federally speaking, as a single state. Do you understand what I'm getting at? Anyway, these Democrats, they're not getting their way. They're losing. They're losing in the public conversation so hard that they're throwing a hissy fit like children. All right, let's go on to this next story. Excuse me. Mormon church members raised more than $150,000 for the Michigan shooter's family. So I'll read the lead paragraph of this. Members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we still going? Yes. Okay, have collectively raised more than $150,000 for the family of Thomas Jacob Sanford, the shooter who killed 4 people in an attack on a church in Michigan. The Give, Send, Go campaign, as of Wednesday morning, had reached at least $152,000 on Sunday. On Sunday, Sanford opened fire at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints at Grand Blanc Township before setting the property ablaze. Stop doing stuff like that. That's stupid. It's really stupid. I know there's people who are saying like, oh, well, they're Mormons, they're not really Christians. And okay, but it's Christian based, you know what I'm saying? And so the whole concept, like turn the other cheek, is not talking about like violence or, it's like insults, That's what it's supposed to be. Turn the other cheek. It's like, oh, okay. I don't care what you say about me. But, the teaching of Christ is like turn the other cheek is not like a command to be a pacifist. That's not what that's about. All right. God, Jesus doesn't want you to be a pacifist. He doesn't want you. He says, "Oh, forgive the sinners," but the people who sin against you, you should be angry. You should have the Jesus Christ in you, who's making a rope and ready to like chase out all the thieves in the temple. You know what I mean? Christ got angry. All right, and when you have a right to be angry at somebody who comes in and shoots up your church and sets it on fire, it's not the Christian thing to raise money for his family. His family knew, had screwed up in some way by not supporting him, by not getting him the help he needed, for not checking in on him. It's like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm oiling up these guns because I'm going to go shoot up a Mormon church. Oh, so the family failed our society as well. Okay, and I'm really tired of this idea that my son's a criminal. Like you see it in like body cam videos. It's like some kid gets arrested, then mom or dad shows up and is like, "What can I do?" It's like you could have raised your child properly. You know what I mean? I'm not saying we should throw your ass in jail too, but I mean, let's be honest. Takes a village. No, it takes your family to raise children. Most well-adjusted children I know have their family directly in their life all the time. Anyway, I'm not saying they hover, but I mean, I know they're going to be raised to be good people because I know the people who are raising them are putting the time and effort in to raise children to be good, good people, good members of society. Not somebody who's going to flip out and go shoot up a church. All right. There's also a lot. Wasn't he a ex-member of the Marine Corps? I think I remember that somewhere. I don't see it in this article. Anyway, the vet angle is, there's lots of reasons why, vets go do crazy things. And it's because, the military is a crazy lifestyle. Everyone who served gets a little PTSD. All right. And I know that phrase is thrown around a lot, but I mean, you have to be a little crazy to survive the military, And so it's and VA hasn't been doing well with like checking up on people just like your family, but I mean, like your family should be doing that more so. Anyway, keep moving. We're 11 minutes out. Chicago mayor says unstable human being Trump must be checked on military use in U.S. cities. Chicago is like one of the worst cities for crime in the country. And I'm just like, you're not doing your job. That's why Trump wants to do this. All right. So I just want to double check again because are we still live? Yeah, I guess so. All right. So Brandon Johnson said, let's see here, appeared on CNN Tuesday asserting President Donald Trump is a, quote, unstable human being who must be checked on his use of military in U.S. cities. The president is an unstable human being, and it's right for this moment to check him. We're being called, and we're calling on Congress to do its job, Johnson told CNN's Wolf Blitzer. After watching a clip of Trump speaking to senior U.S. military officers at Marine Corps Base Quantico on Tuesday, Blitzer asked what Johnson thought of the Trump speech and saying the National Guard will be going into Chicago very soon. Johnson called Trump's comments appalling and argued that both citizens and military personnel should be against the president's move to send troops to U.S. cities. You know, if you were doing your job, it wouldn't come to this. But, you know, the media, the Democrats, they all want to ignore the black-on-black crime in particular that happens particularly in Chicago. All right? They never want to report on the hundreds of people a year getting murdered, Americans getting murdered. And they don't want to cover it because it's black-on-black crime. And that makes black people look bad, I guess. And if you think that, then you're the racist. It's like, well, it makes them look bad. Well, then you're the racist. It's just the truth, you know? And if people knew the truth, maybe they would start, the black community would start sending their own like guardian angels into these Chicago neighborhoods to say, hey, we need to, as a community, we need to stand up against all this horrible crime. We don't need brothers shooting brothers in the streets of Chicago. And maybe if people knew the truth, that something like that, some sort of social change could happen in those neighborhoods and the murder rates will start going down. You could have done that already, sir. Now Trump is like, well, we got to bring in the National Guard because he's not doing his job. For the safety of all Americans, especially those that are being ignored by the Democrat Party and the media. Anyway, let's go on to the next story. ATF boss Randy Weingart suggests U.S. is under, quote, Nazi occupation with latest protest symbol. She's wearing a paperclip or paperclips. The American Federation of Teachers boss Randy Weingart hinted the U.S. is under Nazi occupation by wearing a paperclip during her interview on MSNBC's Morning Joe on Monday. Weingart promoted her new book, Why Fascists Fear Teachers. The arrogance of it. Which she described as a warning against fascism that she argued was already occurring in the U.S. Who are the heroes? Who are the antidote? Who are the hope agents and their teachers? I mean, there was a reason why Putin said that wars are won by teachers. There is a reason why in Norway, when the Nazis took over Norway, that's why I'm wearing this paperclip, Weingart said, pointing to her paperclips. They're so fascinated with these regimes, aren't they? They love Russia. You know, they think, ooh, they love Russia. They love the Nazi regime. It's funny. It's like they don't even know that that's what they want. You know, that's what Randy Weingarten wants. She wants to be able to control how people think. She wants to make kids, like brainwash kids, to think as she thinks politically. You know, and that's the problem. You want to fix the education system? It's really quite simple. You got way too many women running that. First of all, you don't need a teachers union. I don't want to hear that anymore. That needs to go. You need to be able to fire teachers. This whole tenure thing's got to go. And there's just way too many damn women in charge. There's not enough men who are principals and like, superintendent of schools and stuff like that. And they hear about something that some crazy ass liberal woman wants to do. And there's not enough guys going, no, we're not doing that crazy shit. It's like, oh, but we need to make sure these children all know that they can have sex with whatever they want when they grow up. It's like, no, you teach them math. You teach them how to fucking read. All right? Because the American Federation of Teachers, these unions, they haven't done shit. They're cranking out idiots at these public schools. I mean, absolute morons. They can't read, can't do math, have no initiative, and all they want to do is play with their phones. That's all they want to do. They have no ambition. They have no desire to learn anything. No desire to store anything in their mind. We all have a smartphone. Why bother remembering anything? And your job as a teacher is to adapt to the nature of our society and find a way to educate children regardless of all the distractions in the world. That's what you need to be focused on. Not diddling your bean, talking about how smart you are because people who you think are fascists, you think we fear you. You think we fear you. No. We hate you. That's it. We hate you because you're brainwashing children. You're turning them into little Bolsheviks. And education is just going... We don't fear you. We want to fire you. Too many women in that industry. All right, 2 happier stories and we're out of here. I saw this story and I was like, oh, that's sweet. My very first job was at a Chi-Chi's. So Chi-Chi's, iconic Mexican chain, returning with chimichangas and deep fried ice cream. And I still make deep fried ice cream to this day from how I learned how to make it at Chi-Chi's. I love it. I love fried ice cream. All right, so after more than 2 decades of being away from the dining scene, Chi-Chi's is making its long-awaited comeback. Chi-Chi's Mexican restaurant will celebrate the grand opening at its flagship location on Monday, October 6th in St. Louis Park, Minnesota, just west of Minneapolis. What? Why? Oh, you wanted to get burned down to get the insurance money? Then you could open 2, right? You go to open 2 stores. Anyway, I hope that's the plan. Why would you start there? Anyway. That was my first job here in Fredericksburg, and it was the Chi-Chi's I was over by the mall. The building's gone now, but it's my first job. I like their burros, this big giant burrito. Burro. Love Mexican food. Anyway, so they're bringing back Chi-Chi's, and do you remember Chi-Chi's? It says 20 years ago, you know? Celebrate. No, was it celebration of food? Yeah.
Something like that.
But I saw it was like 20 years, and I was like, has it been 20 years? And as soon as I read the article, it's like, I want a burro. It's been a while since, because I haven't been able to find anything like that at any other Mexican restaurant, the burros they had. And their fried ice cream was actually better than most every other place's fried ice cream. And I know how to make it. So I was lucky that I learned that recipe before the store closed up. But, we're talking about 1994, 1993 when I was working there. All right. EK, happy birthday, man. And we were talking about that earlier today, and we're talking about bad birthday gifts. And so I said, dude, if you read the news that I put up, and it was like, no, check this out. Woman leaves anniversary dinner over husband's gift that was basically for himself. Listen to what this idiot did. All right. In her post, a 31-year-old wife described weeks of planning. I spent weeks saving up to buy him a smartwatch that he had been eyeing. I wrapped it nicely, cooked his favorite meal, and set up candles. Her husband's gift was a $100 gift card to his favorite gaming store. He laughed and said, "We can both use it since you watch me play all the time." For her, the gesture stung. On our anniversary, my gift was literally something for him, she wrote. After expressing disappointment, she was told that she was being ungrateful and then left and spent the night at her sister's. The story struck a nerve of readers who don't mince words. One commenter summed it up: "That's not a gift, that's him buying something for himself and trying to pass it off as for you." Others urged her to reconsider the long-term pattern this revealed. As one user put it, the gift card isn't the real issue, it's the message behind it. If he sees the anniversaries as what's convenient for me instead of how can I show I value us. Good sentence. How can I show I value us? It's a huge red flag long-term. Sure. But he may be just an idiot. And I know this is hard for women, but if you explain your point calmly, you might be able to reach him. All right. And it's like, oh, well, I get it. And when someone you love gets you a gift and you could tell there's very little thought put behind it. Because I would think that's what hurts more is that, because it's the phrase is like, how can I show I value us? you know. And that's what this gift represents, is like, I was too lazy about it, really, you know. You know, and so every time I think about like a gift, you got to think about the person you're giving it for. It's got to be personalized. And a gift card, I give them out myself for gifts to myself, but I mean, they're so impersonal. At the very least, I'll get a funny card that's more personal. But he's been married for 2 years, and this is the way he is. I mean, what was dating him like? Tell me about the engagement ring. How did that go down? Did he like order it off Amazon or something? I don't know. You know, it's funny. Yeah, I mean, I read that story like that, and I was like, you really got married? It's like college graduates. Sometimes you meet a college graduate, and you're like, you graduated? Really? Anyway, this is going to be the end of the show. I want to remind you again that I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron today. I would appreciate it. Or you can send me money through Cash App. Use the hashtag shockmonkeyradio, all one word. And you can follow me on social media at DNALETSAW. That's the word wasteland spelled backwards on Twitter. At SLRobbins13 on Instagram. And on Shock Monkey Radio Redux on Facebook. Thanks for putting up with our awkward show. I'm the Madman. And I love you.